Wait, that has a history? You use it every day. You've never thought about it, and somehow it changed the world. I'm Robbie, and this is Wait, That Has a History? The podcast uncovering the wild, weird, and totally unexpected stories behind everyday things. Because nothing you use is as ordinary as it looks.
Take a look at that mug in your hand, or the paper cup in your car cup holder. It smells like comfort, right? It smells like waking up. It's the second most traded commodity in the world, right after crude oil. But if you rewind the clock 300 years, that dark liquid isn't a beverage, it's a state secret. It is contraband, and people were willing to kill and die to possess it. Today, we aren't talking about roasting temperatures or latte art. We are talking about the corporate espionage, international theft, and the literal battles fought to bring those beans to your breakfast table. The Fortress of Mocha. To understand the war for coffee, we have to go back to the 16th and 17th centuries, specifically to the port city of Mocha in Yemen. At this point in history, the Ottoman Empire held a global monopoly on coffee. They knew they had gold growing on trees, and they were paranoid. Here is how extreme it was. The law stated that no coffee bean could leave the country unless it had been boiled or parched. Why? To kill the germ, to make sure that if a foreigner bought a bean, they couldn't plant it. If you were caught trying to smuggle a fertile, raw coffee bean out of Yemen, it wasn't a fine, it was often the death penalty. The port of Mocha was a fortress. But, like any good heist movie, someone always finds a way around the security system. The Saint with the 7 Seeds. Enter Baba Budan. He wasn't a soldier, he was a Sufi saint from India. Around 1670, he went on a pilgrimage to Mecca. On his way back, he stopped in Mocha. He tasted the wine of Araby, coffee, and decided India needed this magic. But he knew the rules. He knew the guards searched everyone. So Baba Budan took 7 raw, fertile coffee seeds. He didn't put them in his pocket. He didn't hide them in his luggage. He taped them against his stomach and hid them inside his thick, bushy beard. He walked right past the guards, boarded a ship, and sailed to India. Those 7 seeds, smuggled in a beard, are the ancestors of almost all coffee grown in the East today. That was the first breach in the wall. The solitary plant and the heroic captain. Once the secret was out, the Europeans started fighting over it. The Dutch got some seeds and started planting them in Java, which is why we call coffee Java. But the French were jealous. King Louis XIV was given a coffee plant as a gift. He kept it in the Royal Botanical Gardens in Paris, guarded like the crown jewels. Enter Gabriel de Clie. He was a French naval officer stationed in Martinique in the Caribbean. He was convinced that if he could get just one clipping of the king's plant to the Caribbean, he'd be rich. But the king said no. So, in true spy fashion, de Clie, let's say, acquired a clipping. Some say he stole it, some say he bribed a gardener. Either way, he gets on a ship to cross the Atlantic. This voyage was a nightmare. First, Tunisian pirates attacked the ship. De Clie fought them off. Then, a storm nearly sank them. But the worst part? The ship ran out of fresh water. The crew was dying of thirst. They were on strict rations, half a cup of water a day. De Clie looked at his little coffee plant in its glass case. It was wilting. It was dying. And in a moment of obsession, de Clie made a choice. He shared his water ration with the plant. He went thirsty so the coffee could drink. He survived. The plant survived. And that single plant is the ancestor of almost 18 million coffee trees in the Caribbean today. So now coffee is in the Caribbean. But what about Brazil? Today, Brazil is the coffee giant of the world. But back in 1727, they had 0 coffee. The governor of French Guiana refused to sell any seeds to the Brazilians. He was guarding his crop just like the Ottomans had a century earlier. So Brazil sent a charismatic colonel named Francisco de Melo Pajita to French Guiana. His official mission was to settle a border dispute. His real mission, get the beans. Pajita tried to buy them, The answer was no. So he changed tactics. He focused his attention on the governor's wife. It's historically debated how far this friendship went, but at the farewell banquet, the governor's wife presented Colonel Pahita with a parting gift, a beautiful bouquet of flowers. She handed it to him, gave him a wink, and he boarded his ship. Buried inside that bouquet were fertile coffee seedlings. That bouquet created the billion-dollar Brazilian coffee empire we know today. We drink this stuff every day to help us answer emails or get the kids to school. We think of it as fuel. But the history of the coffee mug isn't peaceful. It's a history of monopoly, of beard-smuggling saints, of pirate battles on the high seas, and of political seduction. So the next time you take a sip, remember, you aren't just drinking a beverage. You're drinking the spoils of a 500-year-old war. Thanks for listening to Wait, That Has a History.
That's the story behind today's everyday thing. If you liked it, subscribe or follow, share it with a friend, and leave a like or review. It helps more than you think, because even the smallest things have a past.